Close call to order today is Thursday, February the 16th, 12:55 p.m. My name is Brandon Kelsey, be chair. Along with me is Ms. Bonnie Jackson, Ms. Cheryl Notson. We're seated at Baton Rouge DOC headquarters, and we're going to West Baton Rouge Parish Jail for a remote location. Would you please introduce staff and support, introduce yourself there?
Hi, Warden Jude, West Baton Rouge Parish.
All right, Warden. Ready for our first case, please. We do have Mr. Elvin Ogden here as a friend that will speak at the appropriate time. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record, sir.
My name is Kevin East, 84270.
Kevin, we're here for parole revocation hearing. I'll ask you some questions. Rule violations, you plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. We'll ask you questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Read, write.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
read, write?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
You have a parole. Is there a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Excuse me?
Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
All right. Kevin East, DOC number 84270. Rule number 3. You moved from your listed address 5246 Choctaw Road, Apartment D in Brew, Louisiana, without notifying the Office of Probation or Parole. Detective Celestine reported that you were living at 22 Guy Penton Road, Carriere, Mississippi, 39426. You were arrested in Pearl River County, Mississippi on 12/1/2022 by the U.S. Marshals Service on a parole warrant. You were transported to probation parole at 12/8/2022 and booked into the West Baton Rouge Parish Prison for parole violation. How do you plead?
I plead guilty.
Okay. Number 9. It is alleged that you have been in criminal activity by Port Allen Police Department and West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. File number 22-002139 reads, days ago, Eastwood is accused of committing various criminal acts against at least 2 juvenile victims, from which has been disclosed in my presence. The acts range from contributing to delinquency of a juvenile to possible felony sexual battery. This matter was still under investigation. During the course of trying to contact you at your residence in Bruley, detectives advised that you are currently living at 22 Guy Penton Road, Carriere, Mississippi. A parole warrant was issued on 9/26/2022. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay. And number 10, you are arrearage $5,569. Last payment mail account was on 4/18/2017. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. Number 11, you were arrested 12/1/2022, Pearl River County, Mississippi. Probation parole officer transported you to Pearl River County Jail in Mississippi, then the West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff Jail. How do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. Would you answer Ms. Renato, please?
Okay, Mr. East, tell us why you went to Mississippi.
I went to Mississippi because when I was in 2008, while I was incarcerated, I met a woman named Catherine Matthews. Over a course of time, we fell in love with each other. I came home to Catherine. Catherine was a handicapped woman. She was sick. She wasn't real sick at the time we met, but as time went on, because of her condition, she became really sick. The last 6 years of her life, she was confined to a wheelchair, really bedridden, to the point of defecating on herself at times, urinating on herself at times, having to be helped from the wheelchair to the tub, me having to clean her and, take care of her in that way, while also maintaining employment, so I felt like the last 6 years of her life, I would come home from work. I worked in Covington at the time. We lived here in the Port Allen area. So 80-mile commute one way. I'd have to drive to work, then drive home from work to go to work. If you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I felt like I was on 24-hour call, and I did this with a smile. I loved it. I loved her. And in 2021, she passed away. I came home from work and found that she had been dead 4 or 5 hours and from a massive heart attack. Because of I'd like to to interject to the point to where I know you guys have my past criminal history. And I know you guys have my past conduct record from prison, you know, and I was a terrible person, you know, and now I feel like I've made the change in my life to where Catherine helped me change. Excuse me?
Yeah, so why did you move without permission is what the question was.
When Catherine passed away, because of the fact that I've been incarcerated over 35 years of my life, I had no credit. I had, you know, I never owned anything. Everything that I did own was in Catherine's name. When Catherine died, it wasn't long after that her family took everything from me. 3 vehicles, a bank account, an annuity, everything. Left me about to be homeless, left me without a vehicle. I worked in Covington, Louisiana, so.
Right, I get that. So why did you move without permission from your parole officer? That's all I've asked.
Because like I said, when I lost everything, a friend said, hey, I can put you in a home, I can give you a job, and I can give you access to a car, but you got to come to Mississippi. I have nothing in
Right,
Louisiana.
so why did you move without permission from your parole officer? Did you not tell your parole officer these struggles you were having? You just moved.
I didn't tell my parole officer that I was leaving.
Right. That was the violation. That's the violation.
Yes, ma'am.
Why were you finding your fees over $5,000?
Why am I $5,000 in arrears?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing, you know.
Yeah, you got it. Continue.
The reason I can't sit here and say that there wasn't months that I could have paid, but there was plenty of months, especially after 2017. In 2014, Catherine got $660,000 awarded to her because she lost her leg. So up until 2017, in 2017, she woke up one morning and realized that she was broke and she was $75,000 in credit card debt. I had nothing to do with that, but I was continuing to work and continuing to support me and her. So after 2017, it was almost impossible for me to pay because there was weeks to where I didn't even have the money to buy groceries because I was taking care of the household.
Okay.
Up until 2017, I did pay.
You were released in 2011, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You were doing very well. It seems you were actually on telephone report.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions. I'd like to hear from the board.
Yeah, Ward, could you do you have any input for us, Warden?
Excuse me?
The Warden.
I do not have any input. He came here through extradition on 12/8. First time you know, I've known of him, but he has been a model offender in this facility. Don't even know he exists here.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll hear from Mr. Elvin Ogden, brief statement. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a brief statement. Yes, sir.
Kevin and I became, we met and we became friends. He's helped me. I've helped him. We worked together and stuff. And he's told me some of what he's done, which I believe in giving people a second chance, you know, and I mean, I don't feel that he deserves to be there.
All right. Thank you so much for your comment. All right, Kevin, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir, I would.
Go
I
ahead.
feel like I said, I was released in 2011. Since 2011, I've not put myself in the way of any kind of law enforcement. I've stayed out of trouble. I don't use drugs. I don't drink. Well, I say I don't drink, but if I bought a 6-pack of beer today and 2 months from now, I'd probably have a beer left in the refrigerator. That's how much I drink. you know? There's just, every now and then, there's a day I come home from work, I drink a beer, you know, but, I haven't used drugs since I've been out. I've maintained employment. That's one of the reasons why I leave in Louisiana, because I wanted to stay employed and I didn't want to be homeless. You know, I have nobody here in Louisiana. When Catherine died, the reason I came to Louisiana, well, the reason I was in the Port Allen area was when I was released, 3 months before I was released, I came to the work release center here in Port Allen. So once I was paroled, that made my parole be here in West Baton Rouge Parish. So I stayed here. Catherine eventually moved here with me, and I've been employed the whole time. You know, there's been in between jobs, a month, maybe 6 weeks that I wasn't employed, looking for work, but basically I've stayed employed. I've stayed out the bar rooms. I don't do the drugs. And I think that I've changed my life, man. I mean, you know, look, like the reason I even said anything about my conduct record from prison a while ago is because, sir, the 22 years I was in prison, I know I had at least 500 write-ups. I've lost close to 1,000 days good time. You know, I stayed in trouble in prison. And since I've been out of prison, I haven't been in trouble. I'd like to address the number 9, because I can explain that. There was a roommate, a lady friend of mine from Port Allen area, knew that I was moving and asked me, could her son come with me? Because he was having problems with drugs in the Baton Rouge area. I said, yeah, as long as he does not use drugs at my house, he could come with me. And he did come with me, and he did well. Well, eventually I was taking him back and forth back to Louisiana because him and his girlfriend would rent a motel room for the weekend and stay, and I'd have to come back to Louisiana to pick him up and bring him back to Mississippi. He didn't have a vehicle. So.
All right, go ahead, wrap it up. Go ahead, wrap it up.
Eventually he asked me, could she move in with us? So I said, yeah. 2 months later, I found a meth pipe and a syringe. So I made her leave. All the way home, when I was bringing her home, she said she was going to tell my parole officer, and you know, that whatever.
That was that. Okay, we got it.
Number 9 says, I agree to live and work at the places stated in my parole plan. Will not change residence or employment until after I have permission to do so from the parole agent. So all of what you just said is irrelevant. Really.
Oh, I was referring to them saying that I was involved in criminal activity.
Right.
Right, I get
Okay.
it.
All right.
Can I move for executive
We got a
session?
motion for executive session. We have a second.
Excuse me?
Okay, roll call, please. We'll be, yes,
Yes.
we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Mr. East here. Panel ready to vote. Ms. Renatson.
Mr. East, you know, you tend to talk too much.
Ma'am?
Tend to talk too much,
Yes,
but I
ma'am.
do appreciate, I think you were very honest with me today. Particularly about your prison record. Whenever you're released, you plan to go back to Mississippi?
I do. The only thing I have, Ms. Melissa, is a job in Mississippi. I'm buying a home in Mississippi. My home's being held by the company that I work for. I'm buying a home from the company I work for.
A home with $5,000 in arrears. How are you buying a home when you're $5,000 in arrears?
I gotta live. I mean, listen, I'm making $13 an hour in Mississippi. I mean, you know, between cell phone bills,
Hey, look, I live, I know what it costs.
yes, ma'am. And I mean,
But
all I
you know,
can do
you're
is, all I can do is,
responsible to pay your fees.
all I can do is give my word that I will pay my fees from now on. I'll make, look, one thing that did happen to me since I've been here is I quit smoking. $250 a month that was going out of my pocket on cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigarette.
$200 on your arrearages. Listen, this is my vote. I'm gonna vote do not revoke. All right, but
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
conditioned upon you gotta get approved interstate compact in Mississippi.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can't, till you got an approved interstate compact.
Yes, ma'am.
Part of those conditions will be that you catch up on your fee. You got time to do that, but get your priorities.
I will,
All right.
give you my word, I'll do that.
All right, Mr. Reed, my voting.
And I vote to do not revoke as well. Did you have to get your interstate compact done to get back to Carrier to Mississippi? Go back
Thank
and
you.
live there. Pretty much do not revoke. You gotta get that taken care of.
I
Good luck
will,
to you.
thank you.